Welcome back to another edition of King in the Garden TX. I'm having a lot of fun. I love gardening. I love sharing ideas, thoughts, and I love your guys' ideas and thoughts as well. Today I was given an easy question. Is it actually cheaper to go buy your vegetables, or is it cheaper to grow your vegetables? And I thought, well, I guess in hindsight it's probably cheaper to grow your own, but let's take a look at it. My wife and I the other day went down to the grocery and bought 2 tomatoes. Medium size, 75 cents a piece. So $1.50 for 2 tomatoes. Think about a tomato plant. Now these are most likely an early girl or a beef eater. But think of how many pounds, if not hundreds of pounds, that you could get off of one plant from one seed in your garden. Whether it's in a garden, in a pot, up on a patio, doesn't matter. But again, $1.50 is already invested in 2 tomatoes. How many times do you go to a grocery store each season to pick up tomatoes just so you can have a fresh salad or maybe make some sauce or something with it? So let's come up with an idea. For under $2, you can run down to your local feed store, big box store, doesn't matter, and buy a little packet of seeds. Probably 20, 25 seeds in each. And again, $2, so almost the same price as just 2 tomatoes. One of my favorite things to do, and I'm sure a lot of you out there probably have a few extra cups up in your cupboard that you don't use anymore. Well, this would be a good idea. You could just put a little soil in one of these, take one of your seeds, put it in there, let it sprout. You could do this up in the windowsill in your kitchen. Do that while it's still cold outside, and transplant it outside in the spring or early summer, whichever is ensuring that you won't get frost, freeze, or otherwise on it. And the only thing I will tell you, if you decide to use a cup, a plastic one, or heck, an extra coffee mug or something, if you don't have a hole for drainage, be sparing with the water. We don't want to rot those roots. I think rot root is probably the worst thing ever when it comes to a plant, even worse than bugs getting on it, and that's later in the season. We're going to talk about aphids and other things. But you can fill these up with soil. Of course, I like peat pots because these are only a few dollars as well, usually 8 or 10 in a package down at the big box store. The great thing about these is when you grow your seeds, you literally just break the bottom, stick this right into your pot, right into your dirt, the garden, raised beds, whichever, and there you go. Now, on that same note, where do I get my soil? Well, let's run over here to my compost. Hey, so we're over here at the compost, and was just talking about where do you get your soil. Well, here's a soil bag that I found down at the local big box store. About $9, not too bad. But again, it's an added expense. I personally like to use compost, which is slightly to the left here. And in fact, I just recently emptied it out. So now I got to add some more greens from my garden mowing this morning. I've got plenty of eggshells and leftover carcasses of orange peels and grapefruits and everything else. In fact, my wife and I just noticed we have a wild tomato plant growing in our compost, so that's exciting. And she urged me to go ahead and pull it and transplant it over the garden and see what happens. In fact, I see another one behind the compost. That's awesome. This is my favorite way to do it because all through the season and into the winter, you will take all your table scraps, everything except for meat, and add it to this. Leaves off the trees in the fall, grass during the spring and summer. Just add it and just constantly turn it over, so that when the spring comes, you're using this soil, which is fully organic, no chemicals, no added nothing. Pure, organic, delicious yum-yums for your plants. It's that simple. In fact, I made the analogy earlier of how many tomatoes would you actually buy for a season. In fact, let's run over here because we planted our tomatoes, which we started from a seed, and let's see how they're doing. Tell me when. Well, here we are over at my favorite tomatoes. This year we only planted about 30 in our garden. I'm expecting a lot of local folks come by and help me pick it and eat it and enjoy it this season. But believe it or not, this girl was planted by a seed back in October. And we're talking less than a penny for the seed. Maybe a little bit more. But I think I saw some tomatoes already growing out of here somewhere. Could be the plant next to me. But as you can see, she is healthy. She is gorgeous. And it's fully organic. I don't use any chemicals, nothing. In fact, a later episode, you're going to see this hack that my daughter taught me on orange peels, boiled orange peels, and how just that will keep aphids and bugs away, but you're going to see that in a later show this season. But how many tomatoes can I get off of this? I'm willing to bet 30, 40, 50 pounds. That's awesome. And then the flavor is hundreds of miles better when you freshly pick your own tomato versus what we have down at our local grocery store. And again, you know what's on your tomatoes or anything. I'm just picking on tomatoes, obviously, in this episode. But you know what's on it because you're the one who put chemicals or not chemicals, organic goodies, non-organic goodies. It was completely up to you. It's so beautiful. I love it. Let's head back to the picnic table. We'll go ahead and finish this. All right. So to answer that question, is it cheaper to grow your own or to go to the grocery store? Well, I guess in hindsight, again, it's completely up to you. I love gardening. As a child, I was forced to work in the farm, and it wasn't a pleasure. But as I grew and became an adult and a father of my own, even a grandfather now, I just take such joy in my girls in here and now my grandsons. They come out here and help me in the garden. It's exciting to me because they truly enjoy watching something that went from a simple seed to a delicious piece of fruit. I'm going to get crazy on this one. But it's your joy and it's your thought. And to me, the value is there to grow your own. Enjoy it. Hand some extras to your neighbors if you can't eat them all. Whether it's green beans, corns, it doesn't matter. In fact, as we came out of the garden, I was looking at those green beans. They're full of flowers. Look, cameraman. Oh, I'm betting in a week I'll be over here having me some green bean casserole or something. But that's it. I wanted to touch on that subject of cost and is it worth it? It's worth it. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next King in the Garden. And remember, like us on YouTube, we're always going to be here, and send us questions. I love that part. I'm getting a lot of those, and I'm really enjoying it, as well as a lot of hacks that you guys are giving me to use myself and to share to others. You guys enjoy.